Alright, shalom y'all, in the name of Jesus Christ. This is my potato. See, I don't have a place to garden right now, so I'm just doing in smart pots just a little bit. We planted a lot of shit late. These are my potatoes right here. They got monstrous. Usually you want to wait till they yellow up before they harvest, but we planted a little late and the frost is coming soon, so we want to go ahead and look at what we got here. And if the harvest sucks, then I'm not even going to post a video, but it should be a good harvest. So because this is living soil, 100% organic, but the soil is kind of old and we re-amended it, so we'll see what we got here. These are huge, and they just kept going and kept going. So I'm going to put you down for a second. Where you hold it? Don't put my face in it. We already harvested plenty of tomatoes. It's nothing special. It's just a couple tomato plants, but we got a good yield off them. They probably still got a few tomatoes left on them. Alright, so we're gonna get all this green stuff out of here, dump the potatoes with the rocks and everything. See what we got. We got shit. Right, here we go. See, we went kind of late, so we didn't get a lot, looks like. Get the bucket out. See what we got. Now, we should have probably let them go a couple more days, so it is what it is. But the frost is coming, so we got something. There's a good one. Now, ideally, you would have wanted it to have gone all the way down the pot, but we planted late, and that's what we get for planting late. So, but anytime you want to start potatoes in a pot, it's definitely advisable because you can get some seriously good yields out of a pot. Now, the thing is here is you don't need to buy potato seed or seed potato. You just need to buy a bag of organic potatoes from a high quality organic brand from the store and let them sit in your cupboard until they get sprouts all over them, and then you'll be in good shape. Now, I don't even know, that's the one problem with not buying a potato seed is that you don't necessarily know what cultivar you're growing. So we don't know if we planted a high yielding or a medium yielding cultivar, but we just wanted to do something because we lost our garden space since of all this coronavirus propaganda and fear porn. Otherwise we would have had a huge garden at one of our neighbors, but they were obsessed with the COVID propaganda, so it didn't work out so well. So we didn't get very many potatoes, but we got something. It's always worth trying. The soil is actually really good, but we just didn't get it started in time, so that sucks. I was hoping to pull out 10 pounds, but that is possible. You could get 10 pounds of pot all day probably. This is a 15-gallon pot. 15 to 20-gallon pot ought to do it. If you do like 10 or 15 20-gallon pots, you'll be in good shape. We only did one. My wife's new to gardening, so this is kind of her first time doing stuff like this. So I figured even though we got a late start, might as well get her some experience with all this business. Doesn't look like we got much more in here to dig out. And that was a crappy yield, guys, but I'm not going to get on here like some of these weird gardening channels and tell you that that's a good yield, because that's not. It is okay. It's mediocre at best. So what you really want to do when you're growing potatoes is use fishbone meal. Still, for one 15-gallon pot, you know, with some free seed potato that was going bad in the cupboard, this has got, you know, that's probably 3 pounds of potatoes. So, better than nothing. Sucks. But we'll probably use this soil again next year, and so what we really want to do is, in a pot like this, start kind of low, planting your potatoes in here at a level like this, and then as they grow you keep top dressing and building it up, and you top it off with rocks to keep the pests out. And fishbone meal and chicken manure, but a lot of fishbone meal ought to get you a pretty fat boy yield. So this is a fabric pot. It will definitely help you get a good yield of potatoes compared to normal pots, if you keep them well watered. So we got some butterhead lettuce over here. I'll show you. You can always grow lettuce in the cool weather all the way through deep winter even. You gotta, if you're in the south especially, but up north you're gonna want to cover them. This is a free pot we got. Just stick some fucking lettuce seeds in there and let them rot. We just had salad last night. You let those go to head in their primo. Kale. You know, just even if it's a few leaves to throw on your food here and there so you get some vitamin K, you got to do that. Once we get a property, we're going to be growing our little hearts out. Tomatoes are dying off. Got a bunch of tomatoes off of both of these tomato bushes here. And some Roma's coming around, but they're about to die because it's getting too cold. So, we got some mustard greens up here for cooking. All of our greens, we cook our greens, you hear me? And this is all organically grown, biodynamic living soil. All right. So that was our potato yield. It sucked, but we just did it too late. So if you did it on time and take good care of them, you'll get good ass potatoes like this, but you'll get a lot more of them. Now and the reason I'm talking about this for the pots is because some people don't have a place to garden like me right now. So if you get you 10 or 15 of them 15-gallon smart pots and you're trying to survive by, you know, sticking it to Babylon and growing some food, you know what I mean? If you did 10 or 15 of those pots worth of these potatoes, you know what I'm saying, you would have, you know, even with a crappy yield like this in each pot, you'd have a good 20 or 30 pounds of potatoes. Okay? So, there you go. My 8 minutes. There's no reason to keep talking. More ganji growing, food growing. I'll do all kinds of projects and show you. Hopefully soon we'll be able to show you some good potato yields here next season, because we'll be having a garden, a place to grow food, and even if we don't, we'll just get a bunch of smart pots and do this, but we'll do it better and we'll do it on time in the spring, so we get, you know, that pot should have yielded me 10 pounds of potatoes. That's what I'm trying to tell you, at least. That pot, 15 gallons, full of killer soil, should have been 10 pounds at the right time in the spring, okay? So think about it. Potatoes fill you up, you better be growing some. It's easy to grow. All right, in the name of Jesus Christ, y'all be blessed. Jah Rastafari.